Awesome. Okay. So we have a few more folks coming in. So I'll go ahead and just give some quick instructions. So first of all, we're going to leave everyone on mute just due to the size of our group this morning. So we're really excited about the size, but obviously want to make sure that we can give our tutor guides today all the quiet and ability to do this without any distraction. So we're going to have this really great, awesome virtual replacement of a tour. Obviously a regular tour, nothing can replace that, but this is what we've got today. So we're going to try to do the best with what we can. And I think you're going to find it pretty interactive and hopefully interesting. As we're going through the tour, our tour guides, Cassidy and Carl, are current students who are going to be taking you through kind of this virtual adventure this morning. They are going to be able to obviously answer questions for you at the end of this, but they'll also maybe be able to answer some questions as they go about the virtual tour. So if you do have any, definitely feel free to also drop those into the box as well, into the chat box, and then they can kind of determine, you know, if they're at a good place to stop to go ahead and answer those questions for you. So it looks like I think we've gotten pretty much everyone into this space that's probably going to be here for now. We may have a few stragglers. So we'll go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Christian Brown. I'm one of the Chicago regionals for admissions. So if you live in Chicago proper, anywhere in the north or immediate south suburbs, I'm kind of the person you'll work with through that process. We also have some other Augustana staff and recruitment team on as well. But our stars for today are going to be Mr. Carl and Ms. Cassidy, who are going to take you through kind of this tour adventure. So I'll go ahead and turn over to the two of you. And if you want to go ahead and take over.
Hi guys, my name is Cassidy. I'm currently a junior here at Augustana College. I'm a psychology major with a double minor in interdisciplinary honors and communication studies. Some things I'm involved in on campus, admissions, I'm a worker in there, and then I'm also co-president of Relay for Life, and I'm in Epsilon Sigma Alpha, the service sorority.
And my name is Carl Fraser. I am also a junior here. I'm an international business and political science double major with a concentration in international relations. On campus, I am involved in student government. I just finished up my term as president of the student body. I'm also involved in admissions, obviously. I am in a social fraternity on campus, and then, yeah, that sounds about right. We will dive right into this tour then. So let me get my screen up to share with all of you. So this right here is going to be Old Main. And while we wish we could welcome you to campus, we are unable to do that right now. So doing this is our next best option. Old Main is kind of the shining point of Augustana, very recognizable with the dome on top. In Old Main, we have our English programs, our classics programs, philosophy, communications, MJMC, religion, political science, as well as our women and gender studies. If we look at Old Main, inside, what we're going to see is one of our classrooms. So as you can see, they're not too different from what you might have seen in your high school. So what we're able to offer are really small class sizes. So this is something that's very beneficial to students once you come here. You'll see most of your classes have about 18 students, and they're usually capped at around 24. As you get more concentrated in your major, though, you'll see the class sizes are actually going to get smaller. So my freshman year, I took an advanced Chinese class, and in that class, it was only 6 people plus a professor. So you get a lot of that one-on-one attention from your professors. The stained glass in Old Main is also very pretty. It's actually the original stained glass. They kept it while they did all the remodels on the building. So it's still here. In each building, you'll see a different kind of setup. So in Old Main, what you have is big TV screens that the professors can present on, and then whiteboards. In others, maybe you'll have smart boards or just whiteboards, and then obviously projectors. This is Old Main from our quad. And then this is a photo of Ewald. So what I'm gonna do is also show you Ewald here. Right here, we have Ewald Hall. It used to be a dorm, but now it's functioning as a campus building. So in here, you'll have your business programs, whether that be international business, business administration, or any of the concentrations such as marketing, accounting, economics. And then you'll also have education in this building. And then sociology is in here as well. J. Lindbergh building going up. It's our kinesiology building. It will have a new pool for any of our athletes who are in here who might be involved in swimming. And then it will have more just study areas that will be unique to the campus. Now, if we were to look over here, tucked back behind all the trees is going to be Bergendorf. Bergendorf is our music building. So in there, you'll have a lot of practice rooms as well as music rooms where ensembles can get together and prepare for concerts. And then right next to it is where you'll have Centennial Hall. And Centennial is our kind of main amphitheater on campus. It can seat the most people in it at once. They do a lot of different shows here throughout the school year. So whether it be Christmas at Augustana, which is multiple days over a weekend, it's usually televised and brings in a lot of members of our outside Augustana community. But also if someone's coming to campus who's really big and we want to make sure we have enough space for them, we do it here. So my freshman year, we had Bert Kreischer come. He is the comedian. You may have seen one of his specials on Netflix. But it is just a really great experience, and all of that is planned through our Office of Student Life. The last academic building that we're going to see here before moving on is going to be Dankman, which is tucked over here. In Dankman, what you'll see is that you have all of your language classes. So one thing that you do have to do once you come to Augustana is take one language course, unless you took 4 years in high school. You only have to take a language for 1 year here, but you do have lots of options. So you can take Spanish, German, French, just like you'd have in high school, but you also will have the option to take Chinese, Japanese, and then Swedish is also offered. On top of that, they do offer a 1 semester American Sign Language class, but that doesn't count towards your kind of language requirement, but it's still just a really cool option if you're looking for that new experience that you might not get elsewhere. Now we'll move on to Founders Circle. So this is Founders, and right over here is our admissions center. So if you would have come to campus, you probably would have stopped here. This is where your admissions counselors would have been. And this is just a great resource for you for next year, or any year that you're kind of just wandering around. And if you're still trying to decide if Augustana is the right place for you, you'll always find help here. And then we also will have Seminary Hall right above it, which is one of our first year dorms. In seminary, you'll actually have 3 roommates, but you get 2 rooms to share. So most students will put all of their beds on dressers on one side, and then their desks, and just have the other room as more of a hangout area. Over here in this section of Founders is where you'll have all of kind of your administrative support. So our Dean of Students is in there, as well as our Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Our Counseling Center is up in there. Our Registrar's Office, our Dean of Academic Affairs, as well as the President's Office are all in this building. So this is a great place to come if you just need additional help trying to figure out when to register for classes, if you're struggling or you know a friend who's struggling, you can go and get help for them here. And then we also have our chapel up in this building, which is another really cool space on campus. It has a giant organ in it. And then over here, we have our Swenson Center of Geology. So if you're taking any geology classes or geography classes, you'll take them in here. We also have a museum in here, which is just stacked with things that students have found on kind of trips before, as well as there's some dinosaur parts from one of our old professors who used to teach here for a dinosaur he had found. Then we also have our John Deere planetarium. So Cassidy can talk more about this. I know she's taken classes in here before, so I'm gonna give it over to her.
Yeah, so I took an astrology course my sophomore year at Augustana. So we had a lot of our classes in the planetarium. When you actually go in there, there's the actual planetarium, where I like to think of it as movie theater style seating with a giant dome above you. And the projector can actually make it look like you're looking at the night sky. It helps with looking at the constellations, different formations kind of in the universe. And then we also have our giant telescope as well. Carl, I don't know if you can get that photograph. Yeah, so in here is going to be where the telescope is. I'm pointing at the screen like you guys can see what I'm doing, but the actual dome opens up for the telescope to come out, and then it can actually rotate so you can look at different parts of the sky. And then we also have an outside telescope as well, just out on the landing, which will help to see maybe further away constellations, or if you want to see specific planets, certain ones you'll be able to actually see there as well. And one thing that I actually think is really cool about the planetarium and about astronomy is that back in the 70s, we actually had Neil Armstrong come and speak to a class here. So I think that's really cool, because then we have, we've had someone extremely important kind of in our history come to Augustana, and kind of makes me feel like I'm walking where an astronaut walked. So that's one of my favorite facts kind of about the planetarium itself. And this might be a good place to pause. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to send them in a chat about anything that we have discussed, or any buildings or majors or anything like that.
Feel free to keep typing if you're typing any, but we're gonna move on to the library. So our library is inside of the Gerber Center. So the Gerber Center houses our library, our dining center, as well as kind of our brew by the slough, which is what will offer you the Starbucks coffee on campus. And it's also where you'll have our reading and writing center if you're needing additional support on kind of a paper. And then our Office of Student Life is in here, and our Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, our Office of International Student Life, and then our Office of Academic Success. This is the second floor of the library. So this is kind of our work floor. So you'll have a lot of different desktops set up to work on. If you need to print something, you can come here. The thing that I think is really cool about the printers, because I myself am often a procrastinator, so I'll write a paper the night before it's due, and then be up late, and I don't want to have to wake up extra early to go sit down at a laptop or desktop and print it. So you can send an email to mailing center or printing@augustana.edu, and then the next morning you can just stop by here, and all you have to do is swipe your ID, and it just prints out everything that you had sent to them. so that way you don't have to kind of sit down, log in, wait for the computer to boot up. So it's kind of gives you that nice little sweet spot of being able to wake up a little later and still make it to class on time. Then we also have a research help desk over here. So this is worked by students who are just there and have been trained in helping you find kind of articles or stories or different books that will be helpful for any kind of paper you're writing if you don't really know what you should include in it. Then if we look over here, we have our group workstations. So the cool thing is that you can get together, let's say you have a group project, you can all sign in to this one big TV monitor and all be working off the same screen at once. It makes it go a lot faster than trying to have people in different areas sitting down on their own laptops, not really being able to talk about what you're wanting to put into the paper. And then you can also just use it to hang out with friends if you are wanting to get together and do homework together in the library. Then in the floor above, what you'll see is kind of our quiet floor. So it's voted on by students to remain a quiet floor every year. So through this, it means that once you're up there, your phone should be kind of on mute. No one will be talking. So it just gives you that area where if you can't focus in your room or you need absolute silence in order to be able to concentrate, you'll find it here and you'll be able to use that pretty much all of your years here as long as you continue to vote on having it remain a quiet floor. And then on the floor below us, you'll also have special collections. And down in there is another quiet area where you can go and kind of look through all the things that have been archived away at Augustana. So whether it be Augustana related, or if it's something that is not Augustana related that you just kind of are interested in researching, if they have it down there, they'd be more than happy to help you with it. Next, we can look at our dining center. So I haven't eaten yet this morning, and seeing the dining center is actually making me pretty hungry. But you have a whole lot of options once you come in. So all you do is you sign in once with a meal swipe, and then you can eat as much as you want, and you can stay as long as you want. Over here, you kind of have our breakfast option area. So you'll have waffle makers, whole lots of different cereal options. And then we also have an ice cream machine tucked away over here. So I guess that's more of a dessert, but you know, you can put ice cream on a waffle and still have it be breakfast. Then over here, we have our American Grill. So this is going to have your burgers, cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches, kind of all those just American classics that you would find at kind of like a fast food restaurant. They'll also have fries, and then for breakfast, they'll often do kind of sausage, hash browns, eggs, and things of that nature. Next, we'll have our carvery. So our carvery does more of just our like pieces of meat that can be sliced up for students. So they'll do pork tenderloin. Sometimes they get fancy and give us steak. And then they'll do nachos as well on some days. And then fish you can also find here. Over here, we have Wild Times. So for any of you who are vegetarian or vegan, you can find food here. So they'll do lots of different options with things that are like other options that other students are having, just made with tofu or soy products. They can also help you if you do have more specific limitations on foods that you can eat other than just being a vegan or vegetarian. They can help you find ways to still get good food. Then here we have our green station. So here on one side, you'll have a salad bar, fruit bar on the other, and then you'll also have a sandwich bar. So you can pick what type of bread, meats, cheeses you want on it, different toppings, and then you can also choose to get it hot or cold. And then you'll have a soup bar. Now, if you were to keep going down and around in the back, there's a lot more seating as well as more food options. So you'll have Bella Luna, which is our Italian station. So they have a pizza bar, which is always stocked full of different types of pizza, as well as a pasta bar. So you can choose kind of what you want on your pasta and in your pasta, and they'll cook it up for you. And then on some days, they also turn the pasta bar into a burrito bar. And then finally down there, you'll have Global Fusion, which is kind of our Asian inspired food station. So they'll have lots of your different Chinese food options, as well as doing some more of your Vietnamese or kind of Korean options as well. My favorite food to get in the dining hall is the Bang Bang chicken. It's just this really good, like sweet but still spicy chicken, and it goes really good with the fried rice.
Carl, would you be able to quickly overview what our meal plans would look like for first year and sophomore students on campus?
Yeah, so for our first year and sophomore students, what you'll do is most likely choose either a 15 meal swipes a week plan or a 12 meal swipes a week plan. So you might think to yourself, 15 meals doesn't give you 3 meals a day. To be honest, you probably won't even use all 15, just because you won't be eating as much as you think. You'll go to bed late, you'll wake up late, you won't have breakfast. It's things like that. But then on top of that, you get Viking bucks. So with the Viking bucks, you're able to go ahead and kind of use those to get food at either the brew, or you can use it at the Westerland activity or the Westerland Center. It's kind of the C-store is what students call it. I can't think of what its new name is. It got changed after I moved out of kind of the dorms on campus, so I haven't seen it in a while.
It's the Western Market.
Yes, but there you're able to get kind of other options that you wouldn't be able to get in the dining hall, and you can use your Viking bucks to pay for that. You also do have the option of getting an unlimited meal swipe account. And with that, you can use as many meal swipes as you want a week, but you don't get Viking bucks on top of it.
And we did receive a question, Carl, about what our favorite places on campus to study are and our favorite places to hang out on campus. So to answer that, for me, my favorite place to study would either be either the third floor of the library, just because it tends to be quiet, because it is a quiet floor, and I tend to need that silence to study. So that's a really nice place for me to be able to concentrate. And when it comes to hanging out, I think hanging out by the brew is really nice. Or if it's nice outside, to bring a blanket and have a picnic on the lower quad tends to be a really great way to spend some time with friends.
And then for me, my favorite place to study on campus is my dorm room. Just because, well, now it's an apartment, but I can have friends over, so we can all be working on homework together. We can make dinner here. It just is really fast and easy. Everything I need, I kind of have in one place in my dorm room. And then favorite place to hang out on campus is probably in the Bruner Theater Center on that first floor, which we'll talk about later, which has a lot of seating, and then it has Gus's Viking snack bar. And it's just a place where you can kind of get a quick meal in between classes, hang out with friends, and then move on to class.
And we received another question from Micaiah. I hope I said that correctly. There were two questions. One, if you have 15 meal swipes in a week and lose track of how many you've used, how can you check? If you happen to lose track, you can just go up to one of the cashiers, either in front of the dining hall or in the Westerland Market, or even down in the snack shack as well. And when they swipe, you can ask how many meal swipes you have left for the week. And same thing for Viking bucks. If you don't know how many you have left, you can ask them as well. Those will be by semester. If you have any Viking bucks left over at the end of the semester, they will transfer over to the next semester, but they do not transfer over to the next school year. So even if you don't use them all on a semester to semester basis, I definitely recommend using them all by the end of the year.
I also realized I forgot one of the most important parts of the dining hall, which you can't see because it's being blocked, but it's called Sweet, and it is just a giant dessert bar with a lot of different cookies and brownies. They'll have cakes, pies, all of that as well. So now we can move on and look at a residence hall. So this is a room in Westerland. Westerland is going to be our main first year dorm, just because this is where the most students will live. It's 3 wings, 3 floors each, and each floor is divided by gender. So it'll be male, female, and then for the bathroom, it'll be all male and all female. So that way you kind of do have that privacy when you're in the bathroom. Inside of this room, everything that's kind of this brown, like wood decor comes with the room. So you'll get a desk, a dresser, a bed. The bed does come with a mattress. That's a question that is actually pretty common. And yes, it does come with a mattress. You don't have to bring your own. It is a twin XL if you're looking to do your shopping early. And then you'll also get a chair for your desk. You can choose to get your bed lofted, and then with a lofted bed, it just gives you more room to add other things to your dorm room. So in here, you can see they also have kind of a mini fridge and microwave. Now you can bring your own from home, or you can rent one and it'll be in your dorm room. And then at the end of the year, you just leave it in there. So it's kind of easy to clean up at the end of the year. And then you can see by lofting their beds, they had enough room to add a futon with a TV. This is what a lot of students will end up doing if they loft their bed, is just have a futon and then TV. Gives you more room to have more friends in your room to come and hang out. And if you want to see our other dorm rooms, you can go on and watch our tiny tours. In our tiny tours, you'll be able to see a lot of the dorms. In Westerland, you'll also have the Westerland Activity Center. Students call it Augiplex, so it's just a place where you can come and work out. The nice thing is about having it in Westerland is your freshman year. You can go to the gym whenever. You don't have to like put on an extra pair of pants or drive over. You're already there. In here, you can see we have our mounted weights. We also have our free weights. And then you'll have lots of cardio machine options. And then you'll also have kind of a workout area, I guess. So they can lead yoga classes over here. They'll also lead kickboxing classes, self-defense classes, and things like that.
All of those fitness classes are going to be free to students as well. So they'll send out a schedule for those typically in the beginning of the semester, and they'll also send you emails whether anything changes and they get canceled for the day or anything. So that just makes it even more useful for students, so you can fit those classes into your schedules if it's something that you're interested in doing.
Next, we're going to move on back to our academic building. So this is the new expansion of Hanson. So what I'll do is show you the outside of Hanson first. So this brown circle part is going to be the new expansion, and then the brick is the older part of the building. So inside of our classrooms, it's really cool because they wanted to have this modern option for students and create a learning environment that can be adapted to better students' needs. So all of the tables, chairs are on wheels. And then instead of having just one single kind of projection that all students have to look off of, there's TV screens throughout the room that will all show the same presentation. So even if you're sitting in the back, you don't have to kind of squint to see, you can just turn around and see it right behind you. And then it also has whiteboard walls, allowing professors to show all of their work or to have students go up and work on problems up there. And then this is more of the inside of Hanson and some of our labs. So looking more at Hanson, not this. So this is the first floor. So down here you'll have two studios. So you'll have a physics studio and then a studio that can be used for kind of any class. I was fortunate enough to have an organizational behavior class in there, learning how to kind of set up and manage people at work. But it was a one-time thing, but I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to study in this building, especially the first semester after it opened. It's just really cool. And then throughout this building, you'll kind of have all of your pre-meds. So your pre-PT, pre-vet, pre-med, pre-optometry, pre-dentistry. You'll also have your biology, biochem, chemistry, physics, neuroscience will all be in this building.
And if any of you are interested in neuroscience or psychology, up on the fourth floor of this new Hanson addition, we actually have a neuroscience floor, if you will. So we have new behavioral study labs and I think psychological study labs. So that way our students are actually given the opportunities to conduct their own experiments on campus, so you can get those experiences. That's one of my new favorite parts of campus.
Next, we're going to go to our Viking Plaza. So this was added over this past summer as part of the Hanson expansion. We needed to have turnabout added, and so the Viking Plaza came and took its place. So this is just a really awesome part of the quad. They do a lot of different events down here, so they can set out fireplaces and do kind of different fires out here, as well as just an ample amount of seating for students. So then this is kind of just that main connector to all of campus. So if you're living on upper campus, which is where Westerlin is, and you come down out of the Gerber Center, then you'll have access to all of the different buildings on campus. So up there we have the Founders Circle, which is what we saw earlier with the admissions office and the planetarium. If you go straight ahead, you get kind of towards Old Main and the Bruner Theater Center, which we're going to see. And then if you go straight and cross the street, you get to Ebalds and Dankman and Centennial and Bergendorf. And then right over there is Hanson. And then this last academic building that we're going to see here is going to be the Olin Center. So Olin has our mathematics and our computer science majors in it. But then it also just has a lot of different things that serve students, such as CORE. CORE is our research opportunities.
Careers, opportunities,
research, and exploration. I knew I had missed one somewhere and I didn't know where, so I froze. So they will have career coaches in there, and each major has a career coach who can kind of help you figure out what getting a job looks like, what going to grad school looks like. They can help you do practice interviews for both of those, as well as helping you find internships and different research projects in the area for kind of summer breaks or during the school year. You can also use them as a great resource for studying abroad. So Augustana gives $2,000 to each student through a program called Augie Choice. And you can put this towards kind of an internship that's unpaid and you just need funding for any kind of research project or study abroad. So I used mine to study abroad in Brazil. In January, I had a blast. I was studying Brazilian politics and how their government system down there works. I met a great group of people on the trip that I came back to school and I'm still friends with. And then I know Cassidy also studied abroad recently.
Yeah, I used my Augie Choice to study abroad in Galway, Ireland this past semester. Unfortunately, it was cut a little bit short, so I had to come back home in March because of COVID. But it was a great opportunity. I actually attended a school that was probably 6 times the size of Augustana. So at Augustana, I had class sizes around 18 to 20, and in Galway, I had class sizes of over 200 students. So it was a lot different than everything I'm used to now, but it taught me a lot about different curriculums and different cultures outside of our little Augustana bubble. So definitely recommend studying abroad if that's something you're interested in doing. We have semester programs, summer programs, J-term, 2-week break programs, really anything imaginable. So you're always going to find something that fits you really well.
Next, we're going to see our Brunner Theater Center. So this is kind of the main stage area of the Brunner Theater Center. So there's lots of different productions in this building. So different plays, musicals, things like that. We do 4 of them a year. And then also in this building, above it, you'll have our black box theater. Our black box theater is what is used for different classes. And then it also gives students who are maybe a theater major or theater minor who are wanting to put on their own production, a chance to put on productions up in there. We also added our Anderson Pavilion on the outside, so they can do different outdoor concerts or performances out there as well. And then on the floor below, you'll kind of have the student center area of this building. So you'll have an additional computer lab, you'll have the bookstore, and then you'll have the snack bar that we were talking about earlier. The nice thing about this building is that no matter kind of what academic building you're in, it's easy to stop by and go through. So if you're on like that 15-minute break in between class and you're trying to walk from one to another, you can still stop here and grab food to bring to your next class. So this is the main stage and then the new outdoor pavilion. Finally, we're going to take a look at our Austin E. Knowlton outdoor complex. So down here, you'll have our football field and our track. So they're both used for our varsity athletic programs. And then here we just have an additional area for students to kind of hang out or do different events. You can reserve the building through campus. So if you join a club and you're looking for a place to do a get together, you can always reserve this building. And then over here we have Carver, and Carver is our kind of fitness center. So in here, you'll have a weight room that is for our varsity athletes. Other students can use it. You just have to make sure that you're not using it at a time when it's reserved for our athletes who are in season. We have a pool in here, and then our basketball court is in here as well. And that is what I have about down here. It's easy to go to different sporting games. They're all free to you. My favorite sporting event to go to is lacrosse, not any of the other programs. I haven't had the chance to, but I make time to go to all the lacrosse games.
Soccer is a really fun sport to also attend, and basketball and football. Really all of the sports you'll always find time to go to at least once. So yeah.
Do you guys have any questions for us? You can either send it to the whole group or you can send it to one of us individually and we can answer it for you.
Yes, keep the questions coming. We've had a few good ones.
Okay, so there's a question of what is our favorite season on campus?
Ooh. My favorite season is spring, just because after winter, winter is a tough time in general, but I feel like during school, winter tends to be a little tough too, because you can't really go spend time outside with friends. But when springtime comes and the first warm-ish day happens, campus just comes alive. And you have people hammocking out in the trees, you have people picnicking, riding their bikes, walking dogs. It's really just a surreal experience.
I would also say I like spring, but this spring I'm still on campus right now, and allergies are just destroying my like whole life. But I do really like fall. It's when all the leaves change colors. It's a really cool time to kind of go down the slough path and see all the leaves changing and falling, and it's just really cool. So where do business majors take their classes? So that's going to be in Ewald Hall, which is this building right here. Where do engineering majors take their classes? That will be back in Hanson. So it's part of our engineering and physics program. I know that we do have a new engineering specific major coming soon, but they'll still be in Hanson, but I don't know exactly where in Hanson they will be.
We have a question about what intramural sports does Augustana offer? Carl, I know you are really involved in IM sports, so.
Yeah, so we have all different types of IM sports. So IMs get really competitive here at Augustana. My fraternity is now 3-time back-to-back IM champs. So we get a nice big trophy every year, and it's just a lot of fun. But we do IM golf, basketball, flag football, soccer, indoor and outdoor soccer, and then softball gets just really competitive. You wouldn't think it would be, but that's probably the most competitive is softball. And then we also offer just our club sports. So if you want more of that like set pace that you'll get with like being on kind of like a JV team, you can find that in club sports. So they offer different volleyball, soccer, and things like that. And you do get an option to compete against other colleges with that, depending on who the 2 students running your club sport are.
We have a question. What are some fun activities or events that happen around the Quad Cities area that Augie students enjoy? Well, we do have the Quad Cities River Bandits. Right across the river is their field, so that's really cheap for students, I believe. So a lot of students like to go see those home games when they're available. I really enjoy going bowling. We have the QC Family Entertainment, so they have bowling and laser tag and different games. I can't think of what it's called right now, but that's a really great place that Carl and I like to go with our friends during the weekends. So,
and then we also have just a little bit off campus our Tax Slayer Center, which is a big kind of like stadium. So it's where they do graduation. There's also an indoor football team who plays there, and then a hockey team. But then they also do just lots of different concerts throughout the year that like the tickets, you wouldn't believe how cheap they actually are, just because in this area, a lot of things are more inexpensive than expensive. So before I even came to Augustana, when I was a senior in high school, my friends and I came out here for a concert, and we sat in the 3rd row, and the tickets were $80. And I think it was for Luke Bryan at the time. And so that's a fun one. I know Michael Bublé was just supposed to come to campus, or not campus, but to the Tax Slayer Center. His tickets were really cheap. So there's just lots of different options there. Kind of if you're looking for that more, you guys have the United Center or the Allstate Arena where you do concerts, and you'll still have that option out here.
mm-hmm. How do students who don't have cars get around the Quad Cities? We have buses that go around the Quad Cities every day, even through the night. Those are free to Augustana students with the student ID. If you don't have a car, and then if you want to get to different places around campus, we do have our ACEs, which is our free car service for students. They'll take you to different places around campus up until about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's really useful when it's winter and you don't want to walk in the cold. And then we also have a service from ACES where one day during the weekend, they'll actually take you to the Aldi down the street from campus.
And then additionally with that, you're able to just make such a close, tight-knit community here at Augustana. So even if you don't have a car, someone you know will most likely have a car, and they'll be friendly enough to give you a ride to wherever you are wanting to go.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I know you guys have another program at 11. So we want to just thank you guys for coming and letting us kind of give you this virtual tour, even when you can't be here. We really do hope to see you here at Augustana next year, the year after, and welcome you into our campus community in a great way.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. We really hope to see you on campus in the fall, and had a great time.